Hi everyone. So a few months ago we did our Christmas program, which was called The Shapes of Christmas, in the schools, and now on behalf of all the local churches in the area we are bringing them this Easter program, but instead of shapes we're going to use symbols, which you'll soon see. And there'll be an unusual shape that you might not have recognised for Easter. But to introduce our theme, here is Rob.
Yes, that slightly different symbol is one of those on the table right there. Now, one of the things that's the same about both Christmas and Easter, and for the kids it might be their favourite thing, and that is, of course, holidays. But did you know, perhaps you guys did, the kids don't, that word holiday wasn't always spelled exactly like that. In fact, that was the origin of the word in English. It was actually holy day. Let me explain what the word holy means. It's a special word because it means special. It means set apart, put to one side for special use. Now, the kids at home eat their breakfast off the ordinary, usual day-by-day plates and cups and things like that. But in many homes, they keep some special knives and forks and cutlery and all those things. That is nice and cool. Anyway, they put them all to one side, and when there's special visitors, or maybe at a special time of the year, they get the special things out and use them then. They are set aside for a special purpose. That's what the word holy means. And most holidays, at least originally when you think about it, in all cultures, not just Australia, is a religious part, which is often how the word holy is used, a religious part or beginning to those holidays. In Australia, of course, that's Christmas and Easter. Now, in a particular calendar year, that's January all the way through to December, Easter comes before Christmas. But at Christmas, remember, he was born, but he was born before he died. So we want to get these things in the right order today. Thanks, Gayle.
So to help us with the order of the events in the right sequence, we're going to use this timeline on the backdrops here. And the first symbol we're going to use is a Christmas tree as the symbol of Jesus' birth, which the kids saw this symbol actually at Christmas time. That's where his life began. So what happened next?
His life on earth, right?
Well, yes, this is true, his life on earth. But just like us, Jesus grew up. The Bible, that key book for Christians, says that he never did anything wrong. He lived a perfect life. And at the age of 30, he began the work of showing us God's love in action. So, watch this.
Come and see Jesus growing up. This is Jesus.
Hey-o!
Jesus was born in Bethlehem in a barn because there was no room at the inn for him. Jesus had a mom named Mary and a dad named Joseph.
Hey-o!
Jesus grew up in a small town called Nazareth. Jesus had brothers and sisters. One of his brothers was James, and he followed Jesus his whole life.
Hey, Jesus, wait up!
Jesus also had a cousin named John,
Hey, John. Hey, Jesus.
who would later be known as John the Baptist.
Mom,
Jesus was an Israelite, and his family practiced the Jewish customs and holidays.
Hey, Jesus.
Everyone who knew Jesus liked him. Jesus' earthly dad was a carpenter.
I see.
Jesus learned from Joseph and became a carpenter himself. As Jesus grew up, he learned more about God and what his plan was. He studied the Word of God and remembered all that it said. Jesus prepared himself for everything that God wanted him to do. So when it was time, he was ready to be the Messiah, the promised Savior of the Israelites and all of mankind. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love and healed people from their sickness. He did many miracles like calming storms and even raised people from the dead. Wahoo!
So Jesus did not stay a baby, and our symbol for Jesus growing up is a child getting taller. So we'll put that second on our timeline because it comes after he was born, obviously. And Jesus grew up and did amazing things, as we saw, including what happened at the very first Easter. So to help us understand the events and the meanings of that first Easter, we're going to play this concentration game behind me.
Thanks, Gayle. Now, at Christmas time, we had 10 Christmas numbers, and we had pairs, 5 pairs of things that were exactly the same behind those numbers. This is similar but different. You know those T-shirts, same but different. There will be 5 matching things, kind of like a before and an after picture. So you have to think about what goes together, and it's got something to do with Easter as well. Now with the kids, we get them to just say one number. So I need a volunteer to give me one number. First hand up will be 4. Thanks, Jeff. Number 4, please. Let's have a look at this. At the moment, it doesn't matter too much which one you choose, but that's a half-eaten Easter egg. And notice it's got a golden border. The borders are the same colour on the two that go together. Jeff, another number, please.
7.
Number 7. It'll be a good guess if this matches. No, that's a rather dark black border with a dark inside. Remember where those two are? Let's try someone else on this side of the room. How about one of the young ladies? Oh, sorry. We'll come back to you. One of you come on. Good, quick. Thanks for volunteering. Oh. Number 6, please, Gayle. Oh, there you go. That's a whole Easter egg. Where's the other one? No, same girl, please. No helping. Oh, it sounds like it's a bit of a group effort anyway. Let's have a look. No, 2 is a green apple. Remember where all of those are. Back to this side of the room with a hand up, please. Someone, anybody? Oh, Ron, you move. That's like an auction.
Got to say, the kids are quicker with the
Quick, Ron,
hands.
give me a number.
3.
3. Thanks, Ron. Any old number will do. And that's a hot cross bun. A number you haven't seen would be a good idea now. 5. Let's try that. Now there's lots to remember. That's a little chick. All right, lots to keep in your head now. Back to this side of the room. Down the front, Judith.
Okay, 9.
9. Just quick take all day.
Oh,
Oh, that is an egg.
Where's the chick?
What number? 5. I think I heard 5, Gayle. There it is! Well done. You've matched the chicken and the egg, Gayle.
Oh, yes, you have matched the... where is it, Rob? It's mine, but I don't usually say this bit, so sorry.
It'll be on the right-hand side of that page.
No, it's not.
I'll turn back.
Oh, I found it, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Well done, you made a good choice. You matched the chicken and the egg. So, the chicken symbol, Rob, goes on the timeline on the 3rd day of the 4 days on Sunday.
There's usually a cast of thousands doing this.
So, the egg is a symbol used...
No, before you get to that, don't forget what Christians believe.
Oh, sorry. Christians believe that Jesus came alive on Easter Sunday, which is why we've put the chick representing new life on the Easter Sunday, okay? And the egg is a symbol used at Easter time all around the world. So, real ones like this, but also... Rob, your screen, darling.
Oh, did I forget that on the number apologies?
Usually he just has to do the screen and nothing else, so...
That was the first bit, what Christians believe.
And
Now we're up to
so they use real eggs and, of course, the chocolate eggs we all know about. And then in some cultures, we have the red painted Easter eggs. In other places, they carefully blow out the inside of the egg, a real egg, and through 2 little holes. And then they fill it with confetti, and then when they crack it, all the confetti goes everywhere and everyone celebrates. Yay! Oh, it reminds us about new life because the little chick comes from an egg. And what might look pretty dull and boring, this plain little egg, is actually where new life comes from. So Christians believe that not only did Jesus die at that first Good Friday, but he came alive again on Easter Sunday morning. And the chick coming out of the egg can remind us of Jesus' new life and that he offers new life to us too.
Excellent. There's still lots of numbers to choose from, so I forget what side of the room I'm on, but whoever wants to choose a number can do so. What about the boy right at the back? Does he want to choose a number? You can help him, Mum. 6. We got there. Beauty. Number 6 is... Oh, that's an Easter egg. Where's the half-eaten egg? Mum, Dad? Start thinking. Start thinking. Yes? Still thinking. Anybody, give me a number. 4. There you go. There you go. It's the egg. Let me try to remember to turn that back on this time.
Oh, sorry, me, I forgot. I don't usually do this part. Sorry. So, you've matched the 2 golden coloured borders, which are nicely wrapped, the nicely wrapped gold one and the half-eaten one. So, the Easter egg symbol goes on the last day of the Easter weekend, the Monday holiday, which... Well, we all like Easter eggs, and so they're fun, and so are holidays, so that's why we put it there. So Rob's going to tell us about this symbol.
Easter eggs look great on the outside, don't they? Beautifully wrapped, often with nice kind of shiny stuff like that. But what's on the inside? Now, little tiny ones are sometimes solid. Chocolate all the way through, maybe cream depending upon what type you buy. But the average, normal, everyday Easter egg, it's not solid, is it? Now, when I was a kid, somebody gave me a huge Easter egg, not as big as that one you can see there, but it was about the size of a footy. And I thought that I was going to be eating chocolate for 6 months. But when I opened it, I was a bit disappointed. There was that beautiful wrapping on the outside, then a beautiful chocolate shell, but the inside was empty. It's a little bit like our lives. Sometimes we're like that too. We might look good on the outside. Everything seems to be fine. Everything's great. But when things get a bit tough, a bit hard, a bit difficult, we can feel empty on the inside, like we could easily break. But the egg is also a symbol of new life. You'll hear about that more than once today, particularly because we talked about that chick a moment ago. And Christians believe that because of Jesus, we can have a new friendship and a new life with God. Christians believe that he offers something that's really deep and meaningful, a solid centre for our lives today. Let's see if we can find another matching pair. I need someone to give me a number. Yes? Thanks, Glenda. Number 8. Number 8 is, oh, it's a mixing bowl. Where is the hot cross bun? Number 7. Well, is that a match? Probably not. It's the dark. Put him back, Gayle. Somebody else? Can you match the hot cross bun? You've seen it. Yeah, thank you, Maureen. Number 2, please, Gayle.
Oh, I did one, sorry.
It's all coming up a drill. Number 2 is, when we get there, it's the green.
Must be 10.
10. Let's try number 10. There you go, a half-eaten.
So you've matched the 2 green borders, special Australian apples. So we place we placed the green apple symbol on our timeline after the Easter events, because that's what Easter is all about, as you will hear in a minute. It's about new beginnings and turning death into life. Now, those of you who know Jackie Standish, she's our person who does this in the schools. She's been doing schools ministry for decades. And I'm her. So, hello. Oh. My name is Maria Ann Smith, but everyone calls me Granny Smith. I'm a nurse. I've delivered hundreds of babies. But I'm also a gardener, and I grow lots of fruit and vegetables and sell them at the local market. One day, I bought some English crab apples because I wanted to make some apple pies. But I could only use half the barrel of apples that I bought because half of them were rotten. And I threw them away on a garbage heap down near the creek at the end of my property. A few months later, I returned to that garbage heap and found a small tree pushing its way through the rubbish. That must have come from the seeds in the apples I threw away. So I dug it up carefully and replanted it and looked after it really well. A while later, I discovered little green apples on my tree. When the apples were big enough, I picked them and sold them at the local market. They became so popular because no one had ever seen green apples before, and people called them, you guessed it, Granny Smith's apples. Someone asked me to explain how the tree grew, and I said, isn't that just like God? The very things we throw away, he uses to bring in a new thing. That which was rejected as being no good actually produced something new and beautiful. And that's a true story on where our Granny Smith's apples came from. In 1868, this lady Granny Smith lived in Sydney, so that's 150 years ago.
Okay, we've still got 4 numbers, and I'm sure somebody back there will find a match. Yes, Gary. Number 8, please, Gayle. 8 is the mixing bowl with a brown border. Gary? Yep, give me number, Gary. The one Gayle's taught, that would be good. 3!
Ta-da!
There you go.
So, Gary, you matched the 2 brown symbols, the mixing bowl and what was made in the bowl, the hot cross buns. And because the cross reminds us of Good Friday, the first of the 4 days of the Easter weekend, the symbol goes on the timeline after the growing symbol of Jesus' life of 33 years. Don't you just love hot cross buns? They start selling them in the shops almost at the very start of the new year. Christmas is hardly over, and straight away we're being reminded of Easter. Now, the cross on the top of the bun goes way back in history. At first, people used buns similar in size, but not taste, to these buns at the change of the seasons. Oh, there it is. Especially the beginning of spring, because the 4 parts divided by the cross represented the 4 seasons. Now, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's winter at Christmas time, and spring begins around the time that people are beginning to think about Easter. In the 14th century, which is nearly 600 years ago, an Anglican monk first baked the buns using a recipe very similar to today's buns, and he did it at this church called St Albans Abbey, and called them the Alban bun. He then handed them out to the poor on Good Friday. They soon gained such popularity around England that they became a symbol of the Easter weekend. For Christians, the cross represents the death of Jesus. He died on a cross at that first Good Friday, and the spices inside the original buns remind us of the spices and nice-smelling things that they put on the body of Jesus after he died. The buns are best served hot. Oops, not that hot, but that's where their name comes from. Thanks,
Well,
Rob.
thanks, Gayle. You've still got a choice. It's either 1 and 7 or 7 and 1. How about somebody on this side?
1.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. It's number 1, Gayle. And to go with it will be number 7.
2 black borders. Well done. You've matched the dark and light symbols, and we put the candle on the timeline on Saturday between Good Friday and Easter Sunday. So Rob is going to explain this symbol of Easter. Thanks, Rob.
I don't normally do this part either, so here we go. Okay, in the Bible we read that Jesus died, of course, on the first Good Friday. The Bible, by the way, is that special book for Christians. His body was placed into a tomb, that's like a cave in the side of a hill, and then a huge stone was rolled over the entrance. Was that the end? Well, on that first Easter Saturday, Jesus' friends might have been pretty unhappy, very sad, in fact. Jesus had said that he was the light of the world. And it was a bit like the light had gone out and they were left in the dark. But it was not the end. We put the candle or the light symbol on Saturday because even though things looked pretty dark on that day, it was not the end of Jesus the light. Jesus' friends had forgotten something else that he had said. Again, we can read in that special book for Christians, the Bible, that Jesus told his friends before it happened that he would die, but on the third day come alive again. And we read that's exactly what happened. Very early on that first Easter Sunday morning, some women went to the tomb. They found that huge stone rolled away. There was an angel wearing bright, shining clothes. He said, "Why are you looking for the living amongst the dead? He's not here, he's risen." So Jesus, who said that he was the light of the world, had in fact come alive. It might have taken Jesus' friends a little while to work that out, to really know what that meant. What did Jesus mean when he said that he was the light of the world? Well, it can mean many things, but one meaning, rather obvious, is that light helps you find your way. Think about going camping over the Easter weekend. You need a torch sometimes because you've lost something in your tent, or you need to find your way in the dark. Through the events of that first Easter, Jesus dying and coming alive again, Christians believe that things changed amazingly because Jesus enables people to find their way to a friendship with him, both now and forever. Another important meaning of Jesus as light is about wise teachings. Now, you folk may not realise this, but one of the values of values of Australian education, just government schools, we see it written on the wall sometimes in schools, and it's this: treat others as you would like to be treated. I wonder how many people realise that was a wise saying from our Lord Jesus. And that, as a saying, has been a light, or like a light, for many people. Here's another example of Christians using light as an Easter symbol. Some Christians, we did it last year, but not at a church, gather on Easter Sunday morning for a dawn service. You kind of get together while the sun's just starting to rise. And some churches have a fire or a big candle outside of the church, and everybody who arrives is given a small candle. The church itself is kept dark, and as those people go into the church, it gradually gets filled with light, helping to remind people that Jesus is the light. Back to you, Don.
Ooh. Ooh. We began thinking today about the holidays, and you know, of course, that there are 2 holidays at Easter. Jesus' death on the cross was not the end of the story. The Bible teaches that because he is alive, it is possible for us to have a forever friendship with God. And for that we use a heart symbol. So that's the same symbol we used at Christmas time, and it's at the end of our timeline to help us remember that. This is what Christians believe is so special about what happened at the very first Easter. Christians believe that God offers a special life with him both today and forever. So, thanks for listening, everyone, and we hope you have a very special break over the 4 days of Easter, and that you will remember the meaning of some of these symbols that we've used at Easter: the hot cross bun, the Easter eggs, the chick, and everything else. So, enjoy your holiday and all the chocolate, and don't forget that there is an important meaning behind it all.